Hello there, my brainwashed. This is Joshua coming at you today. How you doing? So, I wanted to talk to you today about a subject that has come to my attention. Um, it is a it is the unrealistic expectations that both men and women have towards women, and it is prevalent in our society in a huge way that is kind of destroying the concepts of men-women relationships. And these two concepts are specifically designed for women or men and what they want in a relationship. All right. Now, you guys know that people love living in these fantasy worlds that we create, right? And women and men both have idealized and fantasized about relationships and what they would want the extreme to be. The problem is that we live in these fantasies thinking that these idealized situations or circumstances are a good thing to dwell on because they focus on the things that we need more than anything we need compared to what the other people need. So, and I'm talking specifically about these two concepts, which are porn and romance. Okay, so, and I know it's so weird that I equate porn and romance as basically the same evil, and they technically are the same evil. And the reason is because porn gives men an unrealistic expectation about how a relationship is supposed to be. All right, men have needs, sexual needs, and they idealize these needs and think that women should be providing these sexual needs in a very pornographic way, and they become obsessed with porn and think that porn is the only reason or the only way they can interact with women in a godly fashion. Okay, or not in a godly fashion, but in a relationship fashion. Okay, even it's not necessarily, it's not realistic at all. It's not realistic at all because they're putting all these, they're saying my needs are super important and I want a woman that only cares about my needs. Okay, and so when they watch porn, they think that there's women out there that all they're going to do is take care of my needs, which are, sexual. And so their focus is constantly on these sexual needs that they have, and they hope that the women that they find are going to meet these needs, which is not biblical. It's not righteous. And it constantly causes problems in relationships. Now, the opposite side of that is when women are obsessed with romance. Women will they become obsessed with like rom-coms or romance novels or things of that nature, where they idealize relationships and they think that men are going to be like these. They're looking for like these men that are super rich and bad boys, and but they have hearts of gold, and that the women will change them and make them into something better, and blah 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 blah, and they'll sweep them off their feet, and they'll idealize them and honor them. And these concepts are okay. They're biblical in certain respects, but they're not. You can't idolize these things. Okay, this is the problem, that women. In the Bible, it says that men are supposed to love the wife as he loves himself. Okay, and that is the only thing that men are supposed to be doing, is loving the woman as they love themselves. Women are commanded to submit to their husbands in all things. Women, when they idealize these relationships, whenever they get into a relationship that is not filled with romance, they feel like somehow they've been cheated or they've been lied to, or that the man that they're with is not good enough because they're not meeting this romantic ideal. And conversely, men who are obsessed with porn, when they meet a woman and they're not acting like porn stars, they seem to be feeling like they're somehow they're missing out. Like there's women out there that will meet every single one of my sexual needs, and it doesn't happen. It doesn't exist. Blah blah blah. The reason is because we have all these unrealistic expectations, and our social media or the media in general is trying to meet this fantasy that is not realistic. So what we need to do as Christians is make sure that we have realistic expectations. What are the realistic expectations that a person can have when it comes to a relationship? Well, the realistic expectation is that a woman should want a man that loves her as he loves himself. That is it. That's the absolute expectation that a woman should have when it concerns her husband. Not this concept that I love you more than anything else and blah blah blah, and that I will sacrifice everything for you and blah. A man should sacrifice for his wife, but this idealized concept of monogamy that is perpetrated by our modern media is an unrealistic expectation, because every man wants to spread his seed, and if given the opportunity, given the concept that his wife would not leave him and take his children and take everything he owns, if every man was given that opportunity, I'm sure pretty much every man would take it. If it wouldn't hurt his wife, if he wouldn't lose all of his possessions, and he wouldn't do all these other things, then a woman would, if he was willing to be committed to multiple women, he would do it without hesitation. But there's all these. The only reason men don't participate in polygamy is because they have fear about the consequences of participating in polygamy. And conversely, women are obsessed with this hyper monogamy, where a man is completely and utterly dedicated to her in all things, and is willing to sacrifice everything for her, because he idolizes her and makes her and considers her more like his god rather than a helper. And that's the thing, is like women need to be the helper of the man, not the man be a worshiper of the woman. So in my mind, porn and romance are quintessentially the same sin, just a male and a female version of that same sin. So, and the same sin, and that sin is the idolification. Basically, it's idolizing this fantasy about relationships that doesn't actually exist. So, in conclusion, what we need to do is we need to find what is most important in a relationship. Our relationship should be focused on friendship. If a man and a woman can be friends with each other, that they can work together and believe all Scripture and love each other and submit, then that is the kind of relationship we want. And everything else is just a fantasy. And the fantasy never lives up to the expectation. If we keep our expectations low, we're always going to be pleasantly surprised. But if we have these unrealistic expectations, we're always going to be disappointed. So I'm telling men and women, we need to change our perspective, change our attitudes, change our expectations, so that we can have a more realistic understanding of what a relationship should be. I'm Joshua, the Zealot, and I hope to see you again sometime. Check me out every Saturday at 10 o'clock, and we'll have a Bible Slam. It's going to be great, and you can ask whatever questions you want. I will talk at you later. You have a great day. Waza!